So, let's dive into something pretty profound today. How do you actually navigate life with a real sense of divine purpose? How do you find that clear guidance right when you need it the most?
I mean, have you ever been at a huge crossroads? Maybe it's a career change, a massive relationship decision, or just what's next? And you just wish a big flashing sign would appear telling you exactly which way to go? Yeah, that feeling, that's universal.
But here's the thing. The Bible tells us that kind of guidance isn't just wishful thinking, it's actually a promise. This verse in Romans lays out a really foundational truth. Being led by God's Spirit is supposed to be a core part of who we are as believers. But what does that really look like, day to day?
Okay, so let's get on the same page. What does it mean to be led by the Spirit? Well, it's definitely not a one-time event or some kind of magic trick. The key words here are continuous and dynamic. Think of it less like a set of rules and more like an ongoing conversation, a daily walk where you're just constantly learning to recognize and then follow the Spirit's lead.
It makes sense, right? If we want to be led, we've got to be ready to follow. So let's talk about what it takes to get ready. Just like any big journey, there are a few things we need to get in place first just to make sure we can actually hear our guide clearly.
So here are the essentials, the spiritual conditions for being receptive. It all starts with a foundation of submission, which is basically clearing away our own agenda. And right there with it is obedience, which proves we're actually serious. From there, it's about building intimacy, so we can recognize the voice we're listening for, and then keeping that connection clear through cleansing. And finally, it takes real faith to move when you're guided, and, maybe the hardest part, the patience to wait when you're told to wait. Every single one of these prepares our hearts to hear.
Let's start with that first one, submission. You could almost call this the entry ticket. It's that moment where you come to God and honestly say, okay, your will, not mine, even if it goes against what you want or what feels comfortable. Without this, we're not really open to being guided at all.
This verse from James just nails it. Did you notice how it directly links submitting to God with spiritual victory? When we choose to align ourselves with His authority, we put ourselves in the absolute best position to get that guidance and resist all the stuff that tries to pull us off course.
And right alongside submission is obedience. I mean, think about it. Why would God show us step 5 of His plan if we're still stubbornly refusing to take step 1? Being obedient to the truth we already know, the clear commands in the Bible, that's the real test of our readiness for more specific personal direction.
And this line from 1 Samuel just says it all. God isn't really looking for some grand religious gesture. He's looking for a heart that is simply ready to obey. That kind of simple obedience proves our submission in a way that no big, elaborate sacrifice ever could.
Okay, so once our heart is in the right place, how does all this stuff actually translate into our Monday through Friday lives? Let's get into the really practical how-to, the daily habits that help us actually walk this out.
Think of this like your daily workout for spiritual sensitivity. It starts super simple. Just ask for guidance every day. But asking isn't enough, which brings us to step 2, listen quietly. This is so hard in our noisy world, but it's where we tune our spiritual ears. Then you learn to pay attention to those little inner nudges, that feeling of peace about a choice, or that knot in your stomach. Of course, you don't just act on a feeling, you test everything against the Bible and wise friends. And once that direction is confirmed, the key is to obey promptly. And finally, you stay clean. Deal with sin quickly so that line of communication stays wide open.
Oh, and here's a fantastic pro tip that can really help with this whole process. Keep a log. Seriously, just write down when you felt a prompting from God, what you did about it, and what happened. This isn't about keeping score. It's a tool to build your faith as you look back and see this incredible pattern of His faithfulness and guidance over time.
All these prerequisites and practical steps, they all point to one central truth. Ultimately, this isn't about mastering some technique. It's about learning to actually trust your guide. This is the real heart of the walk.
And this right here, this is the essential mindset shift. We're not trying to crack some secret code or follow a rigid formula. What we're doing is cultivating a living, breathing relationship with a person, the Holy Spirit. It's a walk of trust, learning to recognize His voice and follow Him, moment by moment.
And I want to close with this powerful promise from Proverbs, because it's the ultimate reassurance. It's pretty much a guarantee. When you commit to trusting Him with your whole heart in every part of your life, not just leaning on what you think you know, the result is certain. He will direct your paths.
So, as we wrap up, the real question isn't just about what we've learned, but what we're going to do.
Looking back at all those practical steps, what is the one simple thing you can do today to start cultivating this walk? Maybe it's just taking 5 minutes to be quiet and listen, or maybe it's finally obeying something you already know you need to do. What's your first step going to be?